All right, today we're going to make an R&B track in Logic. Logic is the most clean DAW I've ever heard. So firstly, let's right click, go to new software instrument, and then we're going to click on this library tab to make it a little bit easier. Let's go to guitar, and you could try different guitar styles. Let's go to classic clean, but we could always swap it out with different guitar styles. Okay, so now that we have this open, I'm actually going to click where it says MIDI effects and then go to audio units. I have a plugin called Scalar 2, which is really good. So I'll show you how to use this. So we're going to use Scalar 2 as a MIDI effect, meaning that the notes that we generate in this plugin will be pushed over to the actual guitar. So I could play like one note and it will trigger a chord, for example. So let's go to a scale. Now, most scale types are minor scales. So if you want to kind of narrow that down, and let's say you want to be in like a certain key, let's say B minor, for example. Let's map out the B minor chords. You can't hear anything because it's not triggering anything. So what we can do though is from here, take these chord types and then put them together. So let's turn the metronome on. Let's start at, let's do a kind of tempo. Let's say 66. Super slow, okay? And now let's go. And let's see. Let's try out different chord types. Also, you can switch out the octave. I like this one. Okay, so now we have this. We can click what's called bind groups. So I could click here where it says C. So wherever you draw your chords, click the little thing next to it, basically. Or you could just click where it says B and then have these all bound. So now you can hit Command K and trigger these starting from the C. And now we can play some chords. This might be the easiest way. So let's record that. So I didn't even know Scalar 2 could do this. So I want to show you. Let's record 1, 2. Okay, so you can swap out the chords. Let's double click, go inside of here, hit Control A, let's hit quantize. Okay, now we can switch out the sound. So the sound's a little, it's probably not for that genre. So let's do classic acoustic. I wish they had a Stratocaster in here. They might, I just don't know what it's called. Okay, so here you see how it just disappeared. We have to, I'm gonna hit Control Z because what it did was it got rid of the actual, scalar preset. Okay, so you gotta be careful with that. I tend to forget all the time. So let's click here. Let's go to guitars. Let's just manually change out the preset. From the sampler. Now again, the voicing isn't really a guitar voicing, but we're gonna leave it to not complicate the video. Let's try out different keyboards too. Let's want to see what they have. Oh, this is dope right here. Way better than the guitar sound. Okay, so let's hit Command R to copy, duplicate. Let's pull up some drums. Let's do new software instrument. Now on the right side, they have loops, and these loops are actually kind of good. So if you click here, we can sort all drums, kits, and then genre, hip hop and R&B. There's one called Brooklyn Noir. Sounds pretty dope. Okay, so what we're gonna do is open up on this instrument track. Let's go to instrument, and we want to load up, where is it at here? The quick sampler. And I'm just gonna drag and drop this loop into this. So it says original or optimized for tuning. Yeah, let's do optimized, see what this does. We're gonna go to slice mode. So now you can hit Command K and it will trigger different. Just need another snare. Where's the snare? Okay, so now we're gonna like create little drums. Okay, so let's record this. It's a little slow, but I don't know why that second one was a little off. To Control A, quantize these notes. Now this quantize is not, let's do 1/32 note. I don't know why this snare was triggering late, so I gotta manually fix it. So we have like 8 screens open, so let me collapse these. You guys might not be able to see because my head might be in the way. I can't see my head, so bear with me. So let's zoom in. We need to figure out how to get this one snare on the grid. Where is it at? Oh, here it is. And I'll show you a technique in a second. Okay, so that sounds cool. Let's hit Command R. Okay, so now let's go to the sampler. Opening up the I key. I gotta find that second snare. I think it's this one. We're gonna, click on this snare and add a filter. Like, can you do a per slice on here? Maybe it doesn't do a per slice. Think of a faster way. Let's just do this with an envelope. Sounds pretty cool. I do like the symbols on it though, so either way works. Okay, so next we're gonna add the bass. Let's open up Alchemy. And I think I'm gonna add a couple effects to that synth sound. But before we get there, let's add bass. I have it rated so we don't have to waste time here. There we go. It's hard to get in key, so let's go down an octave. I didn't realize I was recording. Okay, so sometimes you hit R by accident, but okay, so it's so close to the T button. Okay, so let's hit record. Let's go back. Record. Okay, so it's a little low in pitch, but we work with it. Let's do it. Okay, let's quantize. So let's highlight all the notes that aren't glissando notes and hit Q to quantize. I'm gonna mess with the filter. So I'm gonna mess with the filter cutoff points. All right, so they have a 2 filters on this one. Beat's so slow, it takes a while to hear the notes. I think I like the first sound. Let's go back up. just leave it. So I think the drums need the sparkle factor because the beat's missing a lot of frequencies. So let's take off the filter. That adds to the bounce. It's just that cymbals like this are really associated with like the 90s. More muffled sounds are more popular nowadays. Okay, so let's add some effects to this chord sound. I want to add like a tremolo. Let's add a tremolo from the modulation. So this is in triplets. Pretty cool sound. Kind of like this jumpy sound too. It's more of a dance pulsation though. Probably gonna change out the bass. I know what bass we're gonna use. We're gonna use the simple. Let's redo the bass. Open a new software instrument. Let's go to instrument. And I'm trying to remember where I grabbed that bass from. Can't remember. I think it was in Alchemy. Oh, I know where it was. It was sub bass. So if we go to bass, you can narrow this down to sub. And I should have marked it, but I didn't. Here's a good sub bass, pretty clean. Then you can add chorusing to it to make it. All right, my bad. I'm pressing buttons. I'm so used to having Command K open that sometimes I press buttons. Okay, so let's just use the octave. And then the half step for now. Then we can go back and add notes. 2. Okay, so I did a pitch bend at the end. Let's add chorus. Let's widen out the sound. I think triplets works better on this type of sound. Fills in the gaps. Run these drums through a compressor. Now these drums I don't want to make them super hard like trap drums. We're just gonna put it on soft clip mode. Just want to hear what it sounds like on these. So you're gonna push the input, lower the output. Just makes them crunch a little bit more. Okay, let's get this bass cleaned up. You will get the project files for free. Go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Okay, so now we need like build up lead sounds. Now keep it simple. We're just gonna use Alchemy because it has straightforward searching. Let's go to leads. You can search based on genre. I don't think there's an R&B genre in here. So we would have to go funk or jazz. Too bitey. this as like a background. Yeah, I like this as like a repetitive element to record. Okay, so I tried the pitch bend. It was 10 cents too high, but I'm not gonna worry about that. Let's quantize that note, that first note. Let's go to the advanced tab. Let's just add a low pass filter here. See, right there was a little out of key, but whatever. Okay, so I like to add delays to my sound to really make it bounce around. To add delay, just do echo delay, doesn't really matter. We could do stereo delay, but the key is to turn the wet level up pretty high. Turn that down a little bit. Let's see what other sounds we can get. Forgot where we even, oh, the sampler, okay. Let's go through some presets. Was out of key. So this is a dope sound right here. Madness soft clipper to the master, just for more bite. I think one of these bass lines is off. It's hard to hear the bass, so I'm gonna hit Shift Alt up so I can hear the note. Oh, I know what happened. This didn't. Okay, there we go. It should be fixed. Let's quantize that first note. Again, the cymbals are very like 90s. So if you don't like the cymbals, you could always go back to the drums. Add a filter, so it's not so much of the hi-hat. Might be more modern. One of these notes is off. It goes wee wee. We're gonna figure out what this bass is off. I think these notes got offset some type of way. So let's grab these notes. Just hit Alt down. I don't know how that happened, but I must have clicked something by accident. If you don't quantize the first note, it won't trigger because technically the note came before. So if you're wondering why that first note might not trigger, that's why. All right, drag this. Okay, so it needs something else in here, maybe like a saxophone or something. So let's go to the library and let's select from different instruments. Let's just type it in, saxophone. Let's do Studio Alto. Cool, I have it already downloaded. Hit Command K. See what these, I don't know what these mod buttons are. For me, it needs like a little bit more articulation on this sound. Oops. Let's just do do-do-do. 1, 2. Now, again, I would usually use like some kind of vibrato at the end. It says articulation. I guess you could, oh, you know what? I didn't check the actual thing. Okay, so I'm pretty sure, let's see what articulations it has. So you could do trills, scoops. Let's just try it, the different sounds. Okay, so that's what that is. And let's do this one. Okay, that's the vibrato I was looking for. Why is that not the first one though? Okay, so these are like little phrases. Okay, so I might redo that because I didn't know that. So articulation. So let's do that again. See how that has much more. That's what a real player would do. That other one, you know, is very robotic sounding. So let's add some reverb. I think this has built-in reverb. This looks like it. That's the room reverb. Here's the long tail probably. Now I want a longer tail, even though it's a long tail, I want the decay time to be longer. Let's turn the original sound down, but then turn the reverb. See if we muffle some of the highs. It's a bit bright. Okay, so now the song feels more emotive. I might redo the drums, I'm not sure. And just use this as like a percussion. Let's add an EQ. Let's cut out the lows and we'll just use that as a percussive layer. Let's use a high pass and a low pass. There we go. See what other loops they have. It's way too much. Sounds feels a little slow. Actually, I like it the way it is. So let's add a new audio track. I kind of like this loop the way it is. Rarely do I use loops, but this one sounds, it says keep track format. Yeah, okay. It's only like a couple kicks I don't like. Actually, no, I don't like that. Never mind. Loops make me feel like I'm not producing. So let me find another sound here we could chop up. A lot of these are hi-hat heavy. I like the sound here. Yeah, I like this. That's a good one. Okay, let's go to instrument. Let's go to the quick sample. Let's drag this loop in. It's called Golden Age Beat. It's to optimize chops. Then we'll go to slice mode. And again, you could use I'm gonna start with the hi-hats first. Okay, because that will set the tones. Do record, metronome on. And I'm using 2 different hi-hat samples, so it feels like a real hi-hat. Kind of tedious to play all that through, but whatevs. Hit Control A. We're going to quantize these notes. I don't want the hi-hats to be off the grid. Now what I could do is grab the notes if I wanted to and slide them a little bit to the right. It just adds a little groove. Let's do that, and then let's duplicate this so that we have a different track. Where's our duplicate button? Do we have a duplicate button? I'll find it. I forget what button it is. Okay, here it is. New track with duplicate settings. Okay, that was a button I was overlooking. Okay, now let's use this for the kick and the snare. So I'm just gonna record the snare. We don't need that much of a pattern for the snare. Let's go back. So I'm recording the snare a little bit off, so it's not perfectly on the grid. Actually, it sounds better quantized. Now I'm listening back. It's quantized. We can hit Command R to duplicate that. Let's turn these levels down. Start spreading sounds out a little bit. I'm gonna move these bass notes back down. Okay, so let's duplicate that. Let's find our kicks. A little hard to hear these kicks, so I'm gonna turn it up for now. Okay, so let me record through the hi-hat. Pretty simple. Boom, boom, boom. Let's quantize those notes. And again, the drums aren't really, we need to crank them up a little bit. So the question is, how do we group them? We could group them in the mixer, or we could just do it individually. For now, I'm just gonna do it individually. Use a soft clipper. Turn up the input. It's almost too loud now. It being loud actually takes away from the vibe. Funny enough. Let's turn it up. So now we're gonna get into the cool part, which is the vary speed. So let's go up here, let's customize control bar. Let's go to custom, turn on vary speed. And now we're gonna switch this here to vary speed and pitch, and then click here to sense and semitones. And now you can mess with it, slow it down. I think the snare needs a little reverb, so send it to reverb. Okay, so I'm gonna mess with the vary speed, and I took out the snare for the second half. Just realized that sound was mono. I think if you go too dark in the octave, it just sounds too dark. This one's like a nice balance. Okay, so on the vocal, you would go here, go to the pitch correction tool. Now, I don't even know what key we're in. So usually I would pull up Scalar at this point, which is a plugin to help you find the key. So let's see, let's pull that up. Because we started in B minor, now we're in a whole different key. Okay, so since we're in F sharp minor, okay, so you would lock in your vocals to F sharp and then natural minor scale, and then mess with the retune speed to get it faster or slower. Check, check, check. All right, so I'm gonna leave this on default, but that's how you would. Okay, so that's how you do the key for the vocal. All right, so you will get the project files for free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Thanks for watching. It's a game from busyworksbeats.com. Peace.